And WAGNN stands for
We ain't got no name.
We ain't got no name. We ain't got no name. We ain't got no name. No name.
Okay, everybody, we are back here with WAGNN with episode 5.
Cinco.
And in this episode, we're going to discuss single people with children and the rules of engagement. How do you foster a relationship with another person when you have children? What are the rules? How do you deal? When do you introduce your children? Should you introduce your children? And how does all of that work?
That's a difficult topic. For some people, it's difficult. For other folks, it's just, it is what it is. It's like, here, look, this my child. They introduced the child as Uncle Reggie's. Mm-hmm. That's Uncle Reggie.
No, it ain't no uncle.
How many Uncle Reggies you gonna have?
About 12.
It is what it is. You know, me personally, it's very, and looking at family members and friends that have children and are dating, the rule is you don't let nobody meet your kid until you know it's going somewhere.
Right.
Period. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I agree.
Like, you meet them when you meet them. If this is going somewhere, then you get to meet my kids. If it's not going anywhere, no.
You know, a lot of people think that sometimes, you know, when this situation occurs, that the only conversation to be had is with the other person. And a lot of times we forget about the children and having conversations with them, letting them know that you're going, you know, that you might be dating. You don't have to give specifics or anything like that. However, if you find somebody serious, it's important to sit down and talk to your children about what's going on. I knew of a situation where a person didn't say anything and just moved their significant other in.
Oh, no.
I would have been like, I'm going to go stay with my daddy.
Yeah, just move the
I'm not
men.
staying here.
And the chaos that this person is undergoing at this point is real because of the lack of introduction. I've seen that in my work where parents will like not think about their children's feelings and how if they will be receptive to this other person.
I think that's a little bit selfish.
It can
Honestly, like, as a parent, your child's feelings should come along with yours. In whatever you're doing.
Right.
I could see where chaos will come out in that.
Right.
I even feel like you need to see how your child and this person interact with each other.
Right.
Like, especially if the child is young. You know, children at a very young age, they are very perceptive.
Speak on it, yes.
They see things that we don't see because we can get blinded. Kids tell the truth. You know, when kids be like, you know, your hair's ugly, they mean it. Your hair's ugly. So if they say, Mommy, your man is ugly. Your man is ugly. Mommy,
With
I
his
don't
ugly
like him.
self.
They crying every time he come around. Something is not right. Follow
Something
what
is
your
not
baby's
right.
saying.
Yes.
So you moving them in, but not checking in with your child. And that can be detrimental to your child down the line.
Because their opinion does matter.
It does.
It does matter.
Their opinion should come first before that man or that woman.
Right.
Period.
So if you're the type of person where you always introducing Uncle Reggie or Aunt Tina every 3 weeks and your children are acting a certain way, then the issue is not the children. The issue is the lack of consistency of having one person around for a certain amount of time. And 2 to 3 weeks is not enough time to introduce your child to somebody, switch it up, and then you got another Uncle Reggie the second and Aunt Tina the third. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be consistent with your dating patterns. And I agree, it should be that special person. Even if that person don't turn out to be as special as you think. However, it shouldn't be everyone that you entertain should be introduced to your child.
I agree.
You gotta protect your kids.
I agree.
Definitely gotta protect.
And you can't be leaving your kids with everybody.
Nope.
Let's discuss that.
Because I've seen that happen too, where people be like, okay, this is who I'm with, and introducing them early on, and then they watching the kids by themselves, and it's like, no. Don't be so trusting. Protect your baby.
Yeah.
That's how that woman lost her child in Harlem.
Oh, yep. Yes.
With that boyfriend.
That's exactly how.
And she's sitting there talking about something. Well, I figured since his kids turned out, how you know his kids turned out normal?
Sure wasn't because of him.
You had this man flinging your child around like a rag doll.
You sat there and watched this man beat your baby with a broom.
I'm shaking
till
my head.
he died, and watched him hang your baby on the back of the door.
What?
The dead body on the back of the door. I
missed that story.
Yeah, you did.
I missed that story.
That story pissed me
he was
off.
found guilty this month. I think the mother goes up for trial soon. And then she took the baby down after a few hours, went, put a wig on, did her makeup, read the Bible before taking the baby to the hospital. It's like,
wait. She read the Bible too?
Yeah, she read the Bible.
And she put on the wig and makeup.
Put on a wig and
makeup.
Okay.
And then
took the battered baby's body to the hospital after all of that.
And he had been getting abused for months, and multiple calls. ACS went there multiple times. There were multiple reports of abuse. And I'm going to keep my comments about ACS to myself.
Keep that comment to yourself, because I got something.
The bottom line is, people, just keep your kids safe with you. Right. Like, what are you doing?
But there is a conversation to be had about when you're single with a significant other and you have children, that's not your significant other's child, biological child. There is something to be said about how that person will discipline your child.
Of course.
There is a rule. There are multiple rules to that. And sometimes that can become a gray area. We're not talking about necessarily when you get married, or even when you get married. If you have to be on the same page when it comes down to discipline. And that's why sometimes baby mamas, baby fathers, and we're not going to say the father of my son or daughter or the mother of my son or daughter, because that's a totally different category. But when we're talking about baby mamas and baby fathers, you are creating a disillusioned type of family. Like, it's not well put together because, one, the two people involved are unable to communicate. Then when you introduce another person in, they may feel, oh, let me help you with this situation. But because the two biological parents are not on the same page or in discord all the time, what do you think your child picks up? Behavior issues. And then your significant other may come in and want to discipline, and it may be too harsh. Not necessarily because that person is a bad person. Your child could have picked up a lot of bad behaviors, but there is a level of control and conversations to be had in regards to how this is going to take place. And when you have multiple people with their hands in the pot with your children as far as discipline, a lot of things are going to be misconstrued, and your child can become hurt. And I don't agree with a whole bunch of other people putting hands on your child.
Yeah,
and you not watching what's going on.
We ain't having that.
And not even just that. I think kids, the issue of discipline is always going to come up, even if the biological parents are on the same page, because kids are impulsive and they get into stuff and they do stuff.
Yes.
But you do have to have a discussion. Some people might be okay with their significant other putting their hands on their kid. Some people may not. Some people may not. But I think the conversation, all three people involved, the biological parents and that significant other, or these significant others, all four, they all need to be on the same page about how to discipline that child. But this is why I don't deal with people with children.
That's where a level of maturity comes into play. Children are in the mix now. Yeah. And if you're dealing with somebody else, or you're not dealing with the biological mother or father, this is where maturity comes into play. You have to be mature about the situation. If we're not going to be together, we need to be mature enough to say, all right, look, You got your life going on, I got my life going on, but at the end of the day, our child is what matters. He or she comes first. And what are we going to do pertaining to that child when we do start dating other people and meeting other people?
So now we've transitioned from baby mama, baby daddy to the mother of my child and father of my child, which is a different level of respect, because you're able to respect each other's space and opinions. And again, we keep saying communication, because communication is what brings people together and gives a level of understanding, so when that's taking place, it's important that everyone is able to communicate their needs when it comes down to the children, because at the end of the day, that's the most important factor that came out of a union.
And not use the children as pawns on a chessboard.
Now we're going back to baby mama and baby daddy. You see how we flip back and forth? Because that's how easy you can slip in and out.
I know of a situation with someone that the mother was in love with the father and basically was like, you can't see these kids unless you're gonna get back with me, and let provide a barrier for years, right? Which then caused resentment between the children towards the father, not knowing the full picture of this, how their mother contributed to it. It's like it can get really, really sticky.
It can get nasty.
It can,
and then you end up ruining your children. And they're unable to function in society because of the biological parents' disdain for each other and the inability to become mature and really concentrate on what's best for the children.
Being willing to suck it up and say he don't want me or she don't want me and moving on. That's what it needs to be.
What'd you say? Suck
Period.
It up?
Suck it up.
Yeah.
He don't want you.
Yes. Yeah.
She don't want you.
She don't want you.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Because at the end of the day, the kids are the ones that suffer.
They are.
Period.
And then they go to school and cause havoc because mommy and daddy can't get along.
You all right?
Yeah, all right. I'm all right. I'm just saying.
It's a real touchy, sticky situation, topic,
it
type
messes
of thing.
it up for a lot of people. You start setting in stone a lot of behaviors and habits that is hard for your children to grow out of. They learn trust issues when the parents don't get along. They learn how to be sometimes promiscuous, or the inability to settle down or have meaningful relationships when they see people coming in and out of their parents' houses, talking about that's a girlfriend, boyfriend, or remember, auntie and uncle. Children are very smart, and we don't give them the benefit of the doubt for them to understand what's going on. We always say they don't understand their children. Oh, they understand a lot, especially today's children.
Sometimes.
Yes. So speaking of this was something I was interested in talking about. When it comes down to child support and these type of relationships, that can get a little hairy too, because sometimes my opinion don't match with the masses when it comes down to child support. For example, every person should contribute to their household.
Yes.
If they have children.
Agreed.
Hands down. No one hand up. No crossed fingers. No nothing. Every person, mother and father, has to be able to contribute to the household. Now, sometimes one can contribute more than the other.
Or one can contribute and one can't monetarily.
Right. However, spending time. Picking up from daycare, dropping off to daycares, in most cases is equivalent to a monetary gift, or taking care of your child monetarily. So that can go back and forth. What I'm thinking of is when people are placed on child support, and women can be placed on child support too. Okay, let's be clear. But when people are put on child support for no reason, so let's say, for example, a person is giving money to the house. They don't live there, but they giving money. And I won't put a dollar amount because everybody's situation is different, but they're giving what they can give. They're not holding back. They're not hanging out in the club buying bottles. They are giving genuinely, honestly to that household. But because that one person can't have that significant other, they'll throw child support in as a form of punishment.
I've seen that backfire on someone because they were like, okay, I want more money. You're not giving me enough. Even though the guy, he didn't make a lot of money, but he was able to come up with something. He was actually able to come up with a pretty significant amount, being that he did not make a substantial amount.
Right.
I want more money. You got a job. All right, child support. Cool. Put him on child support. So now they went based off the income and you get less than what he was giving you. Stupid.
I've seen that happen before. Greed don't help anybody.
Yeah. If he's not contributing, all right.
Yeah. Flat out.
Take him to court.
Do it.
Take her to court.
You better find all them documents.
Right. If they not contributing.
It just makes me, it bothers me to my core when people do things like that. Like, you see these people clearly giving, clearly supporting you, clearly doing, they don't want to have nothing to do with you.
Right.
But they're taking care of their child. Why would you go and do that?
Right.
Because of what? Because you're feeling some type of way. How does that make you feel at the end of the day? Are you still happy?
No.
Are you happy?
No.
Are you still feel, how are you really feeling?
Still lonely.
But yet you trying to screw this man's life up. Now, some of them do deserve it.
Some do.
Now.
Some of them do deserve it. You know what I mean? Especially when you ask this woman for a child.
Okay, then.
Beg this woman for a child.
Well, suck your foot.
Oh, you gonna give me this? And the woman does it, and then you turn around and you play me like a fool. Like, oh well, no, you're getting on child support. I don't care what you want to say, how you want to feel, because at the end of the day, you asked for all of this, not me. You did.
So in other words, if you're not contributing to the household, then it is child support.
You contribute.
Yeah. You go do it.
You going to jail.
Yeah.
Oh, how about
what they'll do? They'll take away your passport.
Yep. Driver's license.
They'll take everything.
Yeah.
You won't be able to move if you don't pay child support.
Don't let them hit you with back child support neither. You ain't going nowhere.
Nowhere.
And some states are worse than others. They that turnaround time is quick.
You know what I have a problem with? I have a problem with these fathers or mothers that don't play a role in their children's lives, but demand respect from the mother or the father, and definitely the child. When you don't come around, we don't know you. Who are you? You don't contribute nothing, but yet you want to sit here and poke your chest out because you daddy or because you mommy.
Right.
You expect you just automatically feel like you supposed to get that respect. Like, I got a problem with that too.
Yeah.
Especially if you ain't been doing nothing. Who are you to come over here telling me and pointing your fingers at anything?
Right. A person who contributes to contraception doesn't make you a parent.
No.
A parent is someone who spends quality time. A person who can teach the children lessons, protect them, take care of them, wipe their tears when they cry, fix their boo-boo when they fall.
Well, that's the emotionally available parent.
Oh, yes.
I'm about to say, because you have the parent that just provides.
Well, yeah.
They live in the house and they go to work. Love and Marriage Huntsville.
Right. Ooh, you just had to shout that out, right? Couldn't be me. He flat out was like, I go to work. Yeah. That's what I do for my kids. I go to work. My dad was a worker like that. He was a straight provider. However, like, when I would go to these, big meets and things like that, he was driving the car, with carpooling everybody to go watch me run, And I remember him having like these nice conversations with me, these little pep talks. However, my mom was the one doing all the running around. However, he provided the way for us to be able to run around and all that stuff. But yet he was able to be the one to, give a little bit of emotion. You don't have to be crying every 5 minutes. However, being emotionally available is important, though.
Right. It is.
It's definitely important.
Yeah. I could say I had a good balance of that with my parents, which is kind of why that sets the expectation for who I choose to have children
my daddy
with.
always had a
like,
job.
No, I
don't know nothing about that.
You have no option not to take care of your kids. That's not that should not be an option.
Right.
Like how is that? How do you sleep at night knowing you have children out there that you don't take care of?
Some of them are cool with it. Some of them are real cool with it. You want to know
mind blowing.
You know why they're cool with it? Because that's how they were raised.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times the cycle just keeps repeating itself. What I want men to do, and women, is to change the cycle. Why must you continue to keep going down the same road? If you know you didn't have this growing up, why in the hell you gonna make your child go through the same thing?
Change is hard.
It is hard, but at the end of the day, the cycle has to get broken somehow because we got a lot of broken people.
We do.
A lot of broken people, a lot of broken households, and just a lot of people that think dysfunction is normal.
Right.
When it really isn't.
It's not. And that's the one thing about this podcast, because one of the things that we do dispel is dysfunction. You know, to help everybody get on the right track. If there's something you can take from, this podcast is how to do things a little differently. If you want something different, you got to do something different.
You got to.
And
that's
breaking
the
the cycle of dysfunction is important.
But that's why I don't deal with people with children.
I agree with you.
I don't do it. Why? Because relationships are hard enough.
Yes, they are.
Relationships are hard enough. Now add children in the mix. Granted, I'm sure there are some amazing people
who can co-parent,
who can do
right.
it. But it's just it just makes things that much more complicated.
Right.
And then it does a lot for the child because it goes into, okay, if I have a child, I know how I will provide for my child. That's not to say that the guy that I'm involved with, if he has a child, their mother is going to provide for the child in the way that I provide for mine.
Right.
So now we have two children that one develops resentment, and it's like, why is your mother doing this for you, and my father doing this for you, and that's not going to. Why is our father living with you all the time and not here? And that's just it's too much.
It really is.
And that's creating another cycle, a cycle of resentment and anger.
Right. It's
within
too much.
the family.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, get your house in order. And when we say get your house in order, we're saying, if you are a person that is, single with children and you're looking to get into a relationship, don't just jump into something. Don't just expose your children to just anybody. The person you expose your children to should be someone special after you've vetted them, after you've made, I don't care if you do a background check. Nowadays, you need to do it. Pay the money.
If your child is a teenager, your child going to tell you exactly how they feel about that significant other.
Exactly. And take your children's feelings into account because after all, the plan is to have a blended family. And if that's the case, in order to blend the family, all the ingredients have to go together. The cake must taste good.
Exactly, and not flat and stale.
Oh, Lord, and yeasty.
Nasty, frosting all hard
and burnt.
Oh, and be with someone that wants to be with you and your child. If someone is saying, I don't want to be with someone that have children,
respect
it. Take it, respect it, and run. Because you don't know what that will manifest later on.
That was one of my things. I knew I did not want to share my time, my energy,
my money, because it's all fun.
She stopped me dead in my tracks.
It's all fun and games until you're married, and then now you're also paying for child support. Oh yeah,
get it together.
Because that's what happens too.
Not doing it.
You saw Ken do one and Mary J. Blige paid child support.
Let me tell you something.
Paid child support and they divorced.
All that money would have been somewhere else, and you would have never found that money because I'm not paying for you and your chick. For your healthy lifestyle. on my dime. I never known. I can't even speak on that
but
because that makes
children
me
are just
upset.
disrespectful. Seriously, coming after my. I know marriages that broke up off of that.
Okay, so since
Or
we're
finances?
transitioning,
I know marriages that broke up off of, people thinking, oh no, it's not going to affect me, and it affected them big time.
Yeah, because if he don't pay the child support, you gonna pay that child support.
check.
It happened when they filed their joint taxes.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, that too. Yeah,
Let that money not
Everything
come
left.
back.
Everything left and went to child support.
yeah.
Marriage was done after that.
It would.
Can you imagine you expecting 15 grand?
And text time.
I'm going on a trip.
New
I'm
car.
going on a trip. I'm going on a trip.
No, you're not.
Oops. Cancel.
I know
They be like,
marriages
so what
that
you want?
broke
So
up
how
off
do you
of
want
that.
your cuffs? How do you want your handcuffs?
Because you're going.
Give me that check.
I want my money
Run
back.
me that check.
You know what? And that's something to think about when it comes down to assets.
Could you imagine going
No.
to jail for children you didn't birth? What?
You don't even have a stretch mark from them Jones.
When I get out, I'm going back to jail because I'm gonna kill him.
So you gonna take my check? My body's already messed up, not because of your kids, because of my kids,
And I'm in jail because of your
Because
kids?
of your kids. Absolutely not.
I'm cool.
Some of these laws need to.
Well, a lot of these laws are backdated, and with that being said, since everybody wants to be an NBA player, NFL player, and something else, and not a lawyer or a judge or a politician in these days, these laws are going to stay the same. Because who's changing them?
Well, that's kind of hard because I get it. In theory, it's like if you're married, you are one, so your finances become one. But that's why you just gotta.
But see, that theory was ages ago.
Right.
We're living with laws that was set at a time where this wasn't happening. Like, remember, illegitimate children were not recognized. You was a straight bastard, and you was shamed, and you couldn't come outside. Darn it! Look, what's my show? Winter
Walking
is
Dead.
coming.
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. You didn't even have a real last name back in the day. So now illegitimate children, no disrespect, but illegitimate children didn't have a place in society. Now, fast forward to 2020, they have a place in society now. They have either their father's last name, whether the father wants them to have the last name or not. Or we can talk about the identity when they don't carry their father's last name, and then do they really know who they are?
Well, here's the thing. Because I've seen some trifling.
I've seen
some trifling stuff happen. I've
And that's
seen a
what
mother
we're talking about.
that did not know who the father was on the birth certificate. Put the last name of who she thought the father was,
Lord.
but who she thought didn't even sign the birth certificate. And then it was like, okay, child support time because we not together, and I want you to. Okay, so I find out that I'm not the father of this kid. So now I got to go through the whole process of getting my name taken off the birth certificate. Because here in New York State,
you are
if you
liable.
are on that birth certificate, whether you're the father or
Yes,
not,
that's the law.
you are paying child support.
Gentlemen, listen up. Listen up.
And the thing about it is in the hospital, they do the paternity test for free. So even if you are married to a woman, might as well go get the paternity test because it's free.
Because it's free to be sure.
Before you sign that birth certificate.
Let me tell you something.
Because you're going to be pissed if you have to pay for a child
Right.
that ain't yours.
But the thing is, a female could just put the father's name
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
that's
birth
what-
certificate.
of course.
Just like that.
But yeah, the father would still have to sign it though.
Oh.
Yeah. The father got
They do got to sign.
They got to sign the birth certificate.
So you mean to tell me, hold on. So now let's, boo-boo. You mean to tell me a woman will put a man's name on the birth certificate knowing that that's not the father?
They can
right?
give the child's last name.
Then that alleged father, quote unquote, my imaginary fingers, well, my fingers are real, but the quote unquotes, they will just willingly sign it?
That did happen. But because they thought they was the father.
They did. That's a sham.
That's too much daggone drama for me.
On
See,
day one, though.
And this is why children,
This is day one.
already coming into some foolishness.
Day one, talking about born into sin.
Because it's like
born into chaos.
But then this is where it gets kind of sticky for me, because it's not even sticky. Because the fact of the matter is, as a woman, you know who you sleeping with. So you know you sleeping with more than one person. So even if the father is questioning if the child is his, you know.
See, that's what I had a problem with.
So you would want them to know.
That is true.
Right.
If they had a drunken night in Tuscany.
Tuscany.
I'm thinking big for people,
Maybe
in
their asses
Italy.
is just
They don't even know where
loose.
Tuscany
They don't. I
is.
just told them. But still, I want to go. Somebody sponsor all of us. Sponsor WAGNN to Tuscany. Yeah, that's oh, wow.
So so it's like you just picking someone to put on there.
That's messed up.
Creating
And then you
drama.
putting a poor pawn on there. And poor Johnny don't know nothing.
Nothing.
Thinking he the only one, and you done had sex with about 8 of his friends on a drunken night. Or
Right.
not.
So some of the responsibility, because people do come down on men a lot, but it's like, no, you women be doing some trifling stuff.
That's where I'm getting at. Like, we're all for woman power, but we're also
I'm for people
checking
power.
you when you need to be checked, no matter what gender you are. And I do not like it when a person is bamboozled into a responsibility that is not theirs and held accountable for a responsibility that is not theirs. I feel strongly on that.
Because it's like,
I don't like that.
you know who you slept with. You know. So as soon as you get pregnant, you can walk up to both men like, so, hey, listen, I'm pregnant.
Be a grown person about
I'm
it.
pregnant. I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
if you
when
the father, but
it
there's
comes to the
possibility.
forefront.
We'll find out at the end.
Right.
Y'all need to both come to the hospital when it's delivery, and then hey,
We'll
we'll do a
figure it
surprise.
out.
Let's figure it
We'll
out.
do a surprise drawing and see who it is.
No matter
if you're
how
not the father,
shameful you may feel, ain't nobody
Right.
tell you put yourself in that situation.
Right. And if you're not the father, you can just go on about your way,
And
but
that-
you'll both be here, and we'll see. Luck of the draw.
Yeah, that also happens in marriages. You might meet someone and you probably had a fling before you met that person you want to be at, and you become impregnated and you're sleeping with 2 people at the same time, and then you're like, yes, my husband's child.
And it ain't even
And it's
your
not.
husband's child.
Or this happens in marriages too. You'll get pregnant, and because you're pregnant, you'll get married.
Ooh.
Yep. I've seen a lot of that too.
We used to call that a shotgun wedding where we from.
That is shotgun.
A shotgun wedding.
Do
Yeah.
they last? Look, do those relationships
Nah.
last? The most
Not
of
in
the
these
time?
days and ages.
Not
I mean,
in
before
these.
and back in the day.
I mean, I
But
understand
now,
people trying to do the right thing, but at
Right.
the end of the day,
It is what you already ain't do the right thing. It is what it is.
You did fornicate already.
Yeah, it is what it is. You might as well just
Exactly.
keep rocking out.
exactly.
Why stop there?
Why stop?
It's one thing if you want to build and see where it goes. That's right,
Right,
fine. But to just be
right.
like, okay, well, this is what we got to do. That's not what you got to do.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. And I think that's because people get pressured by, society standards of this is how things are supposed to go. So if you do slip up, all right, well, we
Right.
got to make it right. Okay,
Right.
but in the end, it ends up getting messed up anyway.
I think you become a stronger person when you can just admit to, I don't want to call having children a mistake, because God don't make no mistakes and all children are beautiful and blessings. They children are a blessing, right? Nothing is
Some
their
are
fault.
difficult blessing.
Yeah, they are difficult blessings.
Real difficult. They ass beat blessings. Some of them.
I can't even finish my thought. I lost it. I'm mad at you.
Child, some of y'all kids, man. Whoo, child.
I
Bless their
seriously
heart.
lost my thought. I'm done. I'm done. I am finished.
My bad.
It's okay. You be cracking me up sometimes, man. Both of y'all do.
At the end of the day, we just need responsible people.
Yeah.
Regardless if you slip up, whatever happens, just be honest about your stuff, because at the end of the day, when children come into play,
Right.
that's a whole nother being that you have to take into consideration, whether you want to or not.
And it also hurts when they figure out that what they thought was true their whole entire life is now something completely different. Like, can you imagine getting to know somebody and calling them daddy
And then
and then find out, like, that's hurtful.
It is.
It's hurtful. It creates like an identity issue
It really does. It really does, especially when these kids out here searching for their father. And their mama done bought 22 people on daggone Maury looking for their daddy, and they still ain't find him.
Running off the stage.
What does that? How does that?
Why
make
are you
that,
running?
Why are you running?
How does that make the child feel?
Right.
But
Like you that loose?
well, I was just about to say that. Well, how many people did you sleep with in a span of a month?
Oh yeah, a month.
That you can't figure it out. Like stuff like that, yo. People just need to calm down. Calm your ass down. It is not that serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they say a lot of people.
Laying a low, spreading it wide.
Well, they say people, who are promiscuous, they're searching for something, searching for love, and that piece of intimacy allows them to feel wanted for just, I don't know for how long, I won't go there, but for a certain amount of time, because intimacy don't last long. I mean,
It doesn't. And don't bring no kids into the world when you're doing it.
Like, I mean, like, if you wanna have sex with someone different 7 days a week, by all means, knock yourself out. That's your life. Protect yourself, and if you don't protect yourself, woman up, man up, understand what's about to happen, and just deal with it. And but be honest.
Yeah.
Be upfront.
Right. Be very honest.
There's just a few things on that topic that I just don't understand, which is why I'm like, for me, I want to be married before I have kids, because I feel like children are a lifelong commitment.
It is.
Whether the marriage works out or not, you still going to have to be a parent, be parents to this child or these children.
Right.
These children.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
And I just keep saying right.
So I feel like, how do you want to have children with me but not want to marry me? Children are permanent. A marriage, if a marriage don't work out, we can get an annulment within a year, or we can get a divorce, and we can go our separate ways.
Right.
Even if we have children, we can still go our separate ways as far as our daily lives.
Right.
Children, we are stuck. And people say, no, you're only stuck till you're 18 or 21. No, you're stuck forever. Forever.
Because your children will forever need you for something.
So you'd rather create something that's going to guarantee you're going to be stuck with me than marry me? That's kind of crazy to me.
Remember, for love. I just need something to love me. I want someone to love me. And no matter what the situation is, you'll do just about anything to have a baby. I've seen that.
That screams desperation to me.
Well, it does, but there's a lot
the baby
of
don't even tell you they love you until they start talking.
You're right. But I'm all about the sounds today, right? Crack it up. I don't know.
No, but I feel where you're coming from with being married. Honestly, I 100% feel where you're coming from. And I understand now why our parents push that.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to be married when you have children. Because one, you're not going to just marry somebody just to marry them.
No.
Obviously, you got a
Some
relationship
people
going
do.
on. You got love going on. And a lot of the times when they do, it's because a baby is involved.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if we've been together all this time, we know each other all this time, we finally decide to get married and have a child, I feel like that within itself makes the marriage and everything grow. You know what I mean?
It's a concentrated effort.
Right. On both parts, because you both want to be there.
And
when you're forced into a situation where it's like, oh, well, we don't want to look bad because, grandma such and such and aunt such and such might be saying this or that, then here you go getting married and creating a whole situation that neither one of y'all was ready for.
And grandma and mommy and daddy, they not in the house with you every day while you miserable.
Well, I lived that situation for a moment because my first son I wasn't married, and my boyfriend at the time, who is my husband, we had our own time frame in which we were going to do things, and just so happened that our beautiful son came first, but we still had a plan. And I got pressured a lot. I got a lot of pressure. Oh, so when you going to get married? Oh, when you going to get married? And I just had to say, if you don't mind your business, what me and mine is going to do is what me and mine is going to do. And it has nothing to do with you unless I call you to babysit. Other than that, mind your business. And if you got a problem with that, I don't need you to do that either. You know? But I'm so thankful that he had his own mind. And he didn't succumb to the pressure. I had my own mind, and I didn't succumb to the pressure to just jump in and do it because
what everybody
is saying and what they wanted. Now, I understood everybody had our best interest at heart, but him and I, we stand alone together, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It makes
sense.
You know what I
mean?
Yep.
Like, your opinions will never, ever infiltrate what we have, and I respected him the most for being a man and standing up for what we believed in.
Right.
Because he spoke for the both of us, because we had conversations about it.
Right.
And then after a while, you know, everybody shut up and just got with our program. And that was the end of that. But we did have to take a stand because people do pressure you to do what they think you should do within your situation.
I think that's even if you don't have children, like people just because that's because they say that's the natural progression of things. You have you're in a relationship, you get married, you have kids. That's like the linear things that people want. The natural progression of the relationship in most people's eyes. The problem comes in is because
I'm rubbing off on you.
Yeah. The problem comes into play when people do start putting pressure on what you and him or you and her or whatever have going on. And it's like, back the hell up. You put in, like, you don't have to deal with this person. So you putting pressure on what we got going on when you gonna go home to your husband, your wife, your house. You don't got to deal with the day to day. You don't got to deal with the ramifications of whatever decision we make. So be quiet.
Right.
Yep, I agree on that too.
Yeah. Even when my husband and I, well, when we were fiance, you know, in that fiance type of stage, we were engaged. I was questioned, so when y'all going to get married already? And I'm like, what you worried about it for?
You ain't paying.
I said, how about this? I bet you I know who I'm marrying, though.
Right.
I bet you I know who I will have in my home and, you know, living and building my life with. It won't be a stranger because I waited about 2 days and then decided to marry him. Nah, man, I don't mind the time because it was a wonderful time to get to know each other's habits, likes, dislikes, you know, what make them tick, what button not to push. You know what I'm saying? You learn all these different things without that pressure of marriage. Now, I'm not saying just, you know, stay in a certain stage forever. You know, there should be a progressive movement within a relationship along with ongoing conversations about what's to come next, you know. However, that pressure to do things right now because somebody said or this is the right thing to do, it has to be the right thing for you.
Right.
Yep.
At all times. It has to be the right season for you to move, you and your significant other to move. Because if not, it's not going to last.
Because what starts to happen is you getting pressure from other people. So then you start putting pressure on that person. And then it causes a divide in the relationship. And now y'all are both miserable. Because of what other people are saying. And those other people might be miserable too. So now you're just in a mosh posh of misery.
You know what? And that's part of the reason why I never take advice from single people.
Oh no, you're not supposed to.
Miserable ass single
You better
people.
know who miserable.
I don't take advice from just any and anybody.
You're not supposed to.
Especially relationship advice
Yes.
when you're looking for a relationship or trying to grow your relationship. You want to deal with people that's been in relationships, married for years.
And
to
committed.
To get the nitty gritty. You know what I'm saying? What it can be or what it can't be. I don't need no information from somebody that done been through Tom, Dick, and Harry, Susie, Jackie, and Patsy, and you trying to come and give me advice about what?
Nah. You gonna have that.
What you giving me advice about?
Nothing.
Because obviously you still ain't got it figured out.
Right.
Like, girl, let me tell you what I would do.
You know what not to do.
No. Yeah, you're right.
You know what not to do.
You can take a listen to know what not to do. That's a good point.
But someone recently told me, your relationship, your marriage, whatever's going on, you shouldn't talk to anybody about it.
That's what I've heard too.
Agree.
Not to talk to any, not your mother, not your father, nobody. If you have an issue, you talk to that person. Or
Right.
you go to Jesus.
Oh, you can go to the
Or
Lord.
whoever you
Yeah.
believe in, Buddha, whatever. I don't know why I said Buddha, but
I don't know.
but you
okay.
you go to whoever. You don't go to other people,
Right.
Because what happens, especially family, because you'll forgive and forget.
Right.
They won't.
won't. You're right.
And then
You're right.
again, you're going into their expectations.
And I think, just to piggyback off of my wagon sister here, it's important that even if you need to talk to somebody, that you're talking to the right person. Because sometimes you do need to just kind of get things off your chest, because sometimes you can just have a tunnel view
Right.
of what's going on and you don't see your flaws.
I think you should just go to a therapist. I think it's better. I'm
That
realizing
too.
it's better to probably just go to a therapist.
I mean, that works for some people. That works for some people.
Because that's an
It's an
unbiased
An
person.
objective
They
view.
don't have
Yeah.
no. Because everybody can always see, like the family member or the friend, they can always see the person that they have the invested interest in.
I think people can be objective. I'm not taking away from any therapist, obviously. Not taking anything away from that. But for some people who may not feel comfortable, they may need to go to somebody
close
else.
to them,
And
yeah.
if that's the case, the rule is find someone who can be objective. That loves both of you
Right.
together,
Right.
and then they will be able to give you objective advice, because you do need somebody to call you on your stuff, like, nah, you was wrong for that. You be like, oh, for real?
And you got to be man enough or woman enough to take it.
take it. Yeah.
To take it, because then if you become defensive, why are you even here?
Why are we
Right.
even talking about it?
Exactly.
You just gonna do what you
not
wanna do
willing
anyway.
change.
Right,
Exactly.
Yeah. So we covered a lot tonight. We talked about single people with children, and just making sure that if that is the case, that's the situation you in, make sure that you have a conversation with your children. You don't necessarily just introduce anyone to your children. Discuss disciplinary roles and rules. Make sure that your child is, whoever you choose, that it's okay for your child to be supervised by them. If they speak too harsh and you don't like the tone too much, maybe you shouldn't leave your toddler with them. And I'll say this: you shouldn't leave your children with anyone until your children can speak.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay? You don't leave your children with anyone until they're able to speak and
Until they know their body parts.
know their body parts. Okay? They should be able to do that. So that's really number one for me. And just making sure that you protect your children and you keep a watchful eye on your family. As for marriages, make sure that you're not being pressured to get into a relationship that you are not necessarily interested in. Or making sure that the pressures doesn't cause your great relationship to have issues and problems.
Right. Don't go based off nobody else's 5-year, 10-year, 20-year. Do what
Absolutely
you
not.
feel led to do.
Now that's when you go pray.
Right. Do what you feel led to do. You'll know when it's time to let go.
Let
If
them
it's
lead you.
5 years you need to let go. If it's 25 years you
Right.
need to let go. You'll know
Right.
when it's time to let go.
And it's about each person that's in a relationship, that their needs and some of their wants are met. It's a compromise. It goes two ways. It's not one-sided. And thank you guys for listening to episode 5 on relationships, rules of engagement when it comes down to being single with children or even entering the sanctity of marriage. Make sure you got it together before you commit to anyone or anything. This is WAGNN signing off.
Hello. Good night.